Welcome to Dirksón Photography and welcome to the Canon EOS R Real World Review. It's 2020 and let's take a look at one of Canon's most important cameras, the Canon EOS R. It's the camera that has a whole new lens system. It's a new ecosystem. It's the promise of the future. That is what Canon will focus on in the coming years. And of course, I wanted to try it. I film now on the EOS RP. I tried the EOS R the first time in 2018 on Photokina, and my first impression was it pretty much feels like the Canon 6D Mark II. Same flip-out screen, same autofocus system, and it didn't impress me at that moment. And my experience has not changed so much, but there are some things with the Canon EOS R that are very interesting and special. And I want to talk a little bit about it. So when the camera first came out, everybody was crushing it for a couple of reasons. For one, it only has one SD card slot, so how can it be a professional camera? Two, it only has a crop mode if you want to film in 4K, so it's useless for filmmakers. And some other things where many YouTubers and reviewers who got the camera when it came out or before that crushed the camera and said the Sony a7 III is so much better, so buy that one. I tried both and other cameras as well, and I want to give you my experience from someone who shoots Canon, and I give you the aspects that I think are most important. So one thing that I like, or that's important, that you don't really get from a spec sheet is the feeling. How does the camera feel in your hands? That is one thing that's super important. And there are cameras actually that people buy not because of the technical side, what the camera is capable of producing, but just how it feels. A Leica feels different than many other cameras. People buy Leicas not because they are better cameras, but they are different cameras for the feeling. And so the Canon EOS R to me has a really great feel. It feels like a DSLR in terms of the grip, that you can hold it, but gives you the size of a mirrorless camera. And I've tried a couple of mirrorless cameras by now, and there are some that I tried and even owned, like the Fuji XT3 that I never really could hold with one hand pretty well. It looked really nice, it was a beautiful camera, but it wasn't the camera that I love to hold and use in the way that I use the camera. So changing my shooting style, I can hold it with two hands, that's fine, but if I'm filming myself with a second camera, I need to do it with one hand. The grip is beautiful, it holds, it feels really well, and the feeling of the camera is really a nice feeling. So let's start off with that. One thing that I found, especially now after having shot with other cameras, what that I found very important is that when you change lenses, the sensor is protected. There's a wall that gets down whenever you change the lens. Now I'm now in Spain, I'm at the beach, it's windy, there's salt in the air everywhere. If I lick my fingers, it tastes like salt. If I lick the camera, it will taste like salt. And I don't clean my equipment, so it's not so good to have this equipment right here. I'm changing lenses here, and I know the salt is in the air gets into the sensor when I'm changing lenses, and to me it's totally fine, I don't care. But I really appreciate that the Canon EOS R has that additional protection, that when you change the lens, that the sensor is protected. I really don't like cleaning sensors. I never did it. I don't want to scratch the sensor, so I really like that Canon has a protection there. And I ask myself why Sony, after 9 cameras like the Sony a7, a7 II, a7 III, a7S, a7S II, a7R, a7R2, a7R3, a7R4, a9, it's 10 cameras, a9 II, 11 cameras, why they don't have a protection like that in their cameras. I think every mirrorless camera should have a protection that protects the sensor, so you don't have to have a cleaning bag everywhere with you, like here on the beach. I don't want that accessory with me here. Okay, so what else does the camera have? What I also like as a Canon shooter, I can use all my batteries that I have from the Canon 6D, that I have from the Canon 6D Mark II, or that I have from the Canon 5D R, 5D Mark III. They all share the same battery. You can buy them on the second-hand market cheaply. You can buy them from other companies cheaply. You can buy them from Canon directly, and they hold pretty much very long. On weddings with my other cameras, I shoot about 4000 images with such a battery, so it's a really great battery. It's a little bit less on the EOS R because you have two monitors, one on the monitor that you look to, and the EVF, when you look through the camera, that's also a monitor there. So there's more energy consumption with the R than with the traditional DSLR, but that's with any mirrorless camera. Now, what else do I like? As I like on the Canon EOS RP here, I pretty much like the face detection. I'm filming now at 20mm f2.8 and I have a flip out screen here. These two things combined make an incredible self-portrait photography camera. So I can take pictures of myself, and let's take a look at the pictures that I took with the Canon EOS R. So you see, I can put the camera up, I can turn the flip screen around so I see myself from the other side like now. I can see, am I off the screen or in the screen? Is my head too high or am I too small? I can see that with the flip out screen. Plus, combined with the autofocus, with the face detection, eye detection, it's a really great photography tool to take pictures of yourself. And I love that, or with my girlfriend. Okay, I went out with Anna, my girlfriend, and I actually had three cameras, the EOS R, RP and 62. They all produce great images, all with different lenses, but let's just focus on this Canon EOS R. They all shoot pretty much very similar. The R feels great in the hands, like the 62. The RP is a little bit too small, which is also fine, but compared to the R feels just better. I'm not such a guy on making videos and filming, even though I have a big YouTube channel in terms of produced videos. I don't film much in a sense of movies or you know, editing much. So I'm not much on the video side, but you can get the C-Log, which means that you can have a professional, great looking image in 4K with autofocus, which is really great, as the RP does not have autofocus in 4K. It's a great advantage for the Canon EOS R. Now, there are some obvious reasons to get the Canon EOS R. It has a great menu system. That's a thing that Canon always made right, and all the Canon cameras have the same system. If the RP, the R62, 5DSR, they all handle the same. If you have one camera, you know all the menus of all the other cameras. Of course, some things come to the menu, but the structure is always the same. It's very easy to shoot different Canon cameras and get along in the menus pretty well. Now, what I also like, and this is something that I have not seen so often, like the sensor protection, that is very huge for me. As in practice, somebody who photographs every day, this is pretty huge to have the sensor protected from spots or dust coming onto the sensor. Another thing that I like, you can use the new RF lenses, but there are not so many out there now. So what do? You use an adapter. The adapter comes with the camera, and there's also another adapter that has ND filters. So the normal adapter lets you shoot EF lenses, which there are plenty in the world. 100 million EF lenses Canon has produced now. So you can get them cheaply on the second-hand market. I buy much stuff on eBay just to play around with it or to keep it. And Canon lenses are out there everywhere. And the EFS lenses that usually is only that only function on APS-C cameras, like the 80D, the 90D, 800D, that now also works on the Canon EOS R and RP. But in addition to that, you can use the RF, EF, EFS lenses, and you can have an ND filter in that adapter. There's an adapter that lets you have an ND filter, and I wasn't somebody who used that a lot. ND filters. I just got into the long exposure photography, and I can show you some images that I took here with ND filter. I put the ND filter on the lens, and you need different filters for different lens sizes. If you have a big lens, a small lens, you need a different filter, which can add up some money. And it's really great that you can use the ND filter in the adapter. So the ND filter is not in front of the lens, but it's in the adapter. So any lens you put on it will have the ND adapter effect, which I think is really the ND filter effect, which I think is a really great thing. So if you want to go into long exposure photography. Like, let me show you some images that I took here, where you can see the water is blurry, you can see the movement, you photograph the movement. If you want to do that, the adapter with the ND filter is a must-have. It makes life so much easier to have that, to not have to carry ND filter separately, changing them from lenses all the time, maybe forgetting some. And I think that is also something huge for people who want to do that kind of photography. So let's wrap up this and let me show you just some videos and photos that how I photograph with the Canon EOS R. So you see more results. How are the images that come out of this camera? And if you want to see how I edited them, I have made a Lightroom video about it. I put the link in the description below. So if you want to see how I edited all these images in a couple of seconds, we do that in that video. So for me, the Canon EOS R, the most important things for me is the reliability, the robustness, that this is a camera that I can use every day for the next year and it will not break with a high probability. I love the face detection, the face autofocus, plus the flip out screen so I can see myself. Whether I'm filming myself, like I'm filming myself now, I can vlog pretty much everywhere and I can actually see the result on the, for example, like this. Here you see now my face is dark because of the shadow of the camera. If I don't have a flip out screen, I don't see it. I might make a video where something might be in my face and I don't see it, I only see it after I'm done filming. And so the flip out screen and the AF, that's a game changer for me in terms of what I can do filming myself and also taking pictures of myself. The sensor protection is incredible. This is something that I wish for every mirrorless camera to have. The sensor is better than one of the Canon 6D Mark II and RP, but I love the sensor of the 6D Mark II and RP, so that is not something that's not important to me, as all the sensors that I've had I feel are great. I don't need more. But it's great to have the 30 plus megapixel sensor capability to produce grand prints. I love that I can still use the EFS lenses and the F lenses. That is something great. I can do C-Log, I have 4K, I have autofocus in video mode, and adding all this stuff together plus the accessory market. You get microphones, you have remote controls, you have wide angle lenses, super wide angle lenses with the adapter available. It is just a camera system by itself that Canon has built up with the EF lenses and system that you can add to the Canon EOS R, flashes and so on. And so I really can't find much negative. You got the one SD card slot, the crop in 4K, and a couple other things that you might find disturbing, but I don't find it actually really negative. I've never had two SD card slots, and I've never had a card fail, so that is not something that I worry about. When I do important shootings like weddings, I always have two cameras on my body, so even if I lose one camera, if it falls down the cliff into the water and the files are gone, even then I still have every single moment shot with the other camera. Okay, that was it from my side here from beautiful Spain. I wish you a beautiful 2020 and that all your photography dreams come true. I want to photograph 1001 people on the streets in one moment, and let's see how we do that this summer. Thank you very much.
Hallo Noah.
Nimm du ruhig und mach einfach so ein paar Bilder im Film. Ja, ist schon so. Immer, ne? Mach mal auf Schwarz-Weiß.
¿Te quieres bajar?
Noah.
¿Te quieres bajar?
Ja, das ist schon so. Ja. Ja, ist schön. Und ich wechsle einmal.